G'day, Bams.
We've got a special one for all of you wannabe Aussie adventurers out there today. We know from experience that when you're trying to make decisions for your new life from the other side of the world, it is near on impossible. If you're not in Australia, then how can you make decisions for your life here?
From working out where you want to live to what you want to do for a job over here.
Yeah, I think when you're not in a country, it's really tricky. I mean, we found it was like trying to decide whereabouts to live. You're just looking at a map and thinking, well, where do I pinpoint? It's rather large out there. That's why we're your crew on the ground in Australia to help make life easier for you.
Yeah, like your BAMing agents.
BAM agents. Oh my gosh, that could be a new thing.
Agents, B-A-M. I have a license to BAM.
Anywho, back to topic. We're going to answer that burning question.
Oh, is it a BAMing question?
No, not BAMing question. Well, it could be a BAMing question. The BAMing burning question of what will your life look like in Australia? Make yourself a Vegemite sandwich and let's go take a look at the various options that expats have for a ripper life in Australia. Let's talk about work. No doubt, if you're moving to Australia, then you have spent hours, well, in fact, actually years of time skilling up and honing your occupational skills. Many expats thought of moving to Australia because they felt undervalued, overworked, underpaid in their current countries. And they saw that Australia was offering something a hell of a lot brighter. They find that they can remain in their current occupation, but they're getting paid more and they're working less hours. It might not be the case for all occupations or all people, but it certainly is for a lot of expats. I can't tell you about every single job and every single occupation, but what I can do is tell you where you can find information out. The first places you can look at to find information about what you would expect in your occupation is you can look on Indeed and Seek. So when you look at those, you'll be able to see pay, what you can expect as an employee for a particular company, what your hours might look like, and other various bits of information that they give you on the job adverts. You could also check out Fair Work Australia and find out what information they could give you on your particular occupation. And also have a look on LinkedIn. Now that you've been on Seek, Indeed and LinkedIn, you've got an idea of some potential employers in your area and your occupation. There's no reason why you can't reach out to those companies and ask them for more information and advice. Maybe not everybody will give you advice, but I'm sure a lot of them will, and there's absolutely no harm in asking. Your career choice may determine certain aspects of your new life in Australia, such as you might need to work close to a city, or you might be tied to a particular city, but you can find all of that out when you look into your work options.
It's all about that work-life balance. And if someone wants to go for a smoko, you don't have to take up smoking to go for your break.
When you're immigrating, I think it's an ideal time to do a complete life reset. Why just make one change when you could make all of them? It might be that you're fed up of your day-to-day life and that's why you're thinking of emigrating. So perhaps you wake up, you go to your office, you sit on a computer all day. By the end of it, you finish, you have to come home, cook for the kids, and then you do all of your chores, and then you go to bed and start all over again the next day, doing the same thing just to work and pay your bills. And so you're thinking, this is pretty rubbish. This is not how I envisioned life when I was a child and I had dreams and aspirations. So I think that immigration time is a time to sit down and work out, what is it that I'd actually really like to be doing on a day-to-day basis? Do I want to get up and do yoga at 6 a.m. like Ben?
Yeah.
Or do I want to finish work at 3 o'clock, go and get the kids, go and have gelato and go for a bike ride? What is it that really kind of makes you think that is the life that I would like to be living?
Could want to be getting up in the mornings and then go bike riding, go for a hike, do some trials.
Trials?
Like Walk trials. They're called trials?
Trails.
Trails. Shows how often I go on them.
We're actually at beautiful Mount Ninderry right now, but rather than walking up it, we're just sitting at the bottom of it filming.
Smart.
There is 0 point in moving all the way across the world to have the same day-to-day life, because all you're going to get is the same day-to-day problems that you currently have. If you don't change something, then nothing changes.
And what better country to make this change?
I quite agree. I'm rather fond of Australia.
Me too.
If you didn't know.
We like it.
We like it. A lot. Think about your work, think about your social life, your self-care, your family time, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. Think about it all.
Been all jazzy.
I know, a bit jazzy. Think about it all and decide what it is you really want. Because if you know what you really want, then you know what you're working towards. And certainly not saying that you're going to reach all of those goals and dreams and the daily lifestyle goals immediately, because when you move to a new country, expat life can actually be quite hard to begin with. But if you know what you want, stick with me here, if you know what you want, at least you know what you're working towards. For Ben and I, we really liked the new build housing estates close to the beach. And that's what we envisioned a life in Australia being like for us, where we would really enjoy it. You might prefer a beach shack or a farmhouse, or it might be that you want an apartment in the city and that's the ideal life for you in Australia. Or maybe you love the idea of living in the middle of nowhere with red dirt roads, or it might be the idea of a hinterland town that appeals to you with local shops and a local pub where you can get to know your community. There isn't really just one version of life in Australia, is there? You could pretty much do anything when you get here. You don't need to go by a set of rules.
No, you can go travelling, you can settle down and just sort of stay in one area, or you can just sort of move around Australia enjoying life.
I think that's one of the most amazing things about immigration, is that you don't necessarily need to say, okay, well, I'm going to go and do the same over there as I did in wherever I've come from. I think the idea of travelling and really seeing things is quite an exciting opportunity to stop your normal life, to go out and do something different in your new country.
Yes, very much. You're not from being interviewed.
Oh, I thought it was quite a nice setup. It's like they made it for us. So Ben, if you could do something differently to what we did, so we did come and live the same life almost, didn't we?
We did.
We came, we got a house, we worked
Yes.
and looked after kids. But
For
if
me,
you could do something differently, what would it be?
it'd definitely be doing some more outdoor activities like kayaking, stuff around the beach and stuff like that. We haven't really done a lot of that. Do want to get a bike and we go bike riding as well.
Okay, so you want to go more for the activities that we've not done so much of.
Yeah.
We've done a bit, haven't we?
Yeah, we
but
have,
it's not
but-
been like a weekly thing.
No, and we definitely want to go travelling a little bit more.
Do you think that you would have liked to have gone travelling when you got here?
I think we should have done a few months just travelling around.
Yeah,
seeing
that would have
places.
been fun, wouldn't it?
Because I feel like we just sort of plonked down, stayed, and never moved again.
We got it so good that we never wanted to move.
Yeah, but there's so much to do just in this area, like where we live. But now we're 8 years in, we need to go adventuring a bit more.
So apart from the Sunshine Coast, do you think there's any, this is like an interview now,
It is now, yeah.
do you do you think like there's any other areas that you were in Australia, not just the Sunshine Coast where you haven't been out of,
Yeah.
do you think there's any other areas that you would have liked to have looked at to consider moving to?
Still not sure if I would want Perth. to see.
Oh, okay, that's a
Um,
game changer.
Yeah, game changer. For me, I still really like the Gold Coast.
Sunny now, isn't it?
Got umbrellas.
I know it's still in my eyes though, it's just the brightness. My eyes have adapted to wearing sunglasses all the time.
Yeah.
And so when I don't have the sunglasses on, everything feels really bright,
Yeah.
even if it's still 50 shades of grey in the sky. The Sunshine Coast is 50 shades of grey today.
Wow, not that grey.
A bit of blue, but 50 shades of grey, like being in England.
Yes, yeah, that's definitely something you notice when you go back to visit.
When we came off of our recce, that was exactly what we thought. We drove out of Heathrow in the taxi and we just wanted to get on the first plane back because all we could see was grey. And we thought, why? Oh my gosh, why would we live here?
Yeah, we was like, just go back, grab the kids and go back again.
Yeah.
But obviously we had to sort out visas and things like
But
that.
about 16 months later, then we
Yeah.
actually did.
Yeah.
Anywho, nice chatting to you. Thank you. Thank you for the interview.
Hope to come back soon.
For me, I think if I got to try something for just a couple of months, I would try the complete outback lifestyle. I've been out there for a short period, stay at a friend's farm when I was 14. I think it was for about a week. But if I was going to try something different, it would be that. I couldn't do it long term because I need to be around people, but one of the most remarkable things about living in the outback or staying in the outback for me was that there was no one, like literally no one else for hours. It was a really bizarre feeling that you were completely alone, but I really enjoyed it, and I think I would definitely try that again for a short period. Do you reckon you would try outback life for a little bit?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, too much isolation. I still like to know people are around, and I don't like the thought of being miles away from everyone.
Oh, okay. How funny, because you're the introvert and I'm the extrovert, yet I'm the one that would quite happily.
Yeah, but I still like life around me.
It's like thousands upon thousands of kangaroos.
Yeah, and spiders and things like that, but people.
Right, you want people. One of the most major changes for most expats is that you don't know anyone and you have absolutely nobody to rely on.
And if you're an introvert like me...
Tough luck. Carry on.
It's all right, you cut me off now.
If you're an introvert like Ben, then tough luck, because you've got no choice but to get to know people and but to put yourself out there.
And I think I've started doing that pretty well now.
You do pretty well, actually.
I do pretty well.
Sometimes I'm like, is that even my husband when I see him talking to strangers?
It's just me.
The friendships that you do make as an expat are really, really important, and they're pretty much like family relationships, because when you've got nobody else, those are the people that you rely on. Maybe you could start thinking about how you are going to nurture those friendships, because no doubt with the ones that you've currently got, you don't really need to think too much about it. But in a new country with new friendships, maybe you need to start thinking about how you want those friendships to look. You might want to start making some changes that will help you with those new friendships, such as you might prioritise getting a house that is suitable for entertaining so that you can have all your new friends over. Or you might just think, oh, I'd rather meet people at the park or meet people in a group setting. So you might want to join some clubs where you share common interests with people. But those are things that you're going to need to think about now that you need to start a whole new network. How does that look for you? We would love to hear what life changes you hope to make when you emigrate.
Or if you're already an expat, what was important to you?
Let us know in the comments, and subscribe if you want to know more about immigration and life down under.
We'll see you next week.